Heirs of Fate is simply lovely. It is Fire Emblem Fate's most important DLC add-on, and it is a great experience. Heirs of Fate follows the children of Fire Emblem Fates in a world where all their parents died trying to protect them, of which each and every single kid had the same suspicious backstory. Heirs of Fate takes place over the course of 6 episodes, all of which involve scripted characters removed from your own army, with preset weapons, deployment and skills, etc, etc. Episode 1 follows female Kana from the Birthright route, recently separated from her father and running into Kiragi, Hizumi, Mitama and Selkie, in which they team up to take control over these shadowy enemies and avenge their parents. Episode 2 follows male Kana from Nor, in which he's taken the loss of his mother worse than female Kana and is on a dragon rampage, so Forrest, Dwyer, Sophie, Ophelia and Nina step in to try and control him. Episode 3 continues from the Birthright side, with Shiro, Midori, Asugi, Kaldori and Rajat all teaming up, while Episode 4 does the same with Nor, with the remaining characters, Siegbert, Percy, Ignatius, Valoria and Soleil doing the same on theirs. At the end of Chapter 4, however, we learn something very important, thanks to Shigure, who explains how the Hoshido children came from a world where Corrin chose Hoshido and won, and the Nor children from the world where Corrin chose Nor and won. And the reason that they all have the same story of their parents dying at the same time is because Anankos is pulling all the strings and planned the whole thing, now tagging Revelation into things. This explanation from Shigure is meant to smooth things over and get the two sides to cooperate and talk, but it does the opposite. Once the children learn about the awful things the other side have done, they kinda turn on each other and refuse to help. Although Kana is cool with Kana, so that's wholesome.
We're related. There's 2 of them!
You stand no chance against one such as me.
Chapter 5 then has Shigure trying to lead the Kanas towards Anankos and defeat him once and for all, but coming up against Arate and some choice puppets, of which they are Makoto and Sumeragi, some familiar faces.
Nice shot!
Chapter 5 then ends with some heartbreaking lore. Shigure will go alone to fight Anankos, as his song can destroy both him and Anankos, basically Robin and Green, but who cares? The kids are not happy, because they want to help, as now they started to get along and they have a bond with Shigure, but Shigure will not allow it, revealing he came from an alternate world where Corrin chose neither side, and even with the strength of both armies, Anankos killed everyone, except Shigure, who escaped. And so Shigure teleports himself alone to die and avenge his world once and for all. Chapter 6 starts with a panic. The kids want to save Shigure, but they don't know how, until Ophelia and Soleil reveal that they hold a teleport stone similar to Shigure, which is actually a reference to another Fates DLC, but I'm not getting into that. With the support from Lilith, the gang are transported to Shigure to his annoyance, but after some convincing, everyone fights as one. However, sad news. While Shigure's song would have killed him, the only other way to stop Anankos is to give up one's memories, and the power of memories is enough to stop Anankos for good without killing Shigure. Sounds like a fucking Kingdom Hearts plot.
I'm really not happy about you messing with my memories. These memories you gave me. Fake memories.
I can't wait to get my memory.
Erase my memory.
Anyway, after many warnings, everyone agrees to destroy Anankos through the power of violence and memories, and afterwards be returned home having no recollection of the events and being reunited with their parents like nothing happened. Yes, this plot is a bit insane, but I'd expect no less from this game. And after Anankos' brutal death, of which I delivered via Kiragi if you know anything about me, I have always loved Takumi. Takumi is my all-time favourite Fire Emblem character, and of course Takumi exists, which automatically makes a chapter 10 out of 10, but he does jump off to his death. 0 out of 10. I thought it was a great game. Then I played Fates in 16, and it changed my life.
Oh yes, Daddy!
The world is saved and everyone is returned home, illustrated through these gorgeous illustrations. The end. Just kidding. For me, Heirs of Fate really works for a couple of reasons. One is the cast. The Awakening kids are no doubt much more important and iconic, and this leads to the Fates kids feeling like a bit of an afterthought. It's this mindset that benefits Heirs of Fates. The kids have their time to shine, and honestly, it's great. I'd argue it's better than the main game. Everyone here has such a fleshed out personality distinct from their parents, which all play off each other really well. The main cast are the royals, of course, and even just looking at them, this really works. The kanas are way more charismatic than Korin. Kana is young, emotional, a little teary, but determined and always wanting to help. They are much more fun to follow and act like a child, being both more scared and upset, but also resilient and optimistic. This is kind of unlike Korin, who's just kind of static. Kiragi is upbeat and energetic. Forrest is calm and collective and maybe a little bit snide. Shiro is hot-headed and confrontational, and Siegbert is timid and judgmental. And while in Vanilla Fates we don't see the opposing royals bounce off each other much, here they can, and it makes for a much more engaging story. In Vanilla Fates, the royals of the opposing kingdoms rarely interact, but when they do, it's pretty good. Such as in Chapter 6 with Ryoma and Xander, or in Conquest with Camilla teasing Hinoka, or that Conquest chapter saving the royals. When they do it, it's actually not that bad. Like, take this moment for instance in Heirs of Fates, where the kids find out that their parents have maybe killed each other, and they all take it pretty differently. Kana is just happy to stop fighting. Kiragi is a bit uneasy, but tries to be optimistic or downplay the fighting, such as taking some accountability with the fact that his bow could have killed some people from the Norian royal family, even if it wasn't his fault directly. Forrest remains courteous but very cold, deliberately keeping Kiragi at arm's length even when he's trying. Siegbert, despite his timid demeanour, is also a very prideful man who will inherit Nor's throne one day and is openly hostile to working with the Hashiden royals, and Shiro is very angry and argumentative and even a little vitriolic. What this means is that it creates really good tension and is genuinely interesting. While Fates is a game with 3 paths, none of those paths cross because that would be impossible, but it is very creative to have this DLC involve all 3 paths in that clever way. I particularly love, within the argument the royals have, they throw out misconceptions which they're not aware of the truth, such as Shiro confusing his world and the opposing world by equating that King Leo must have killed his dad, something which is completely impossible as it combines both scenarios, but it's also something which in the moment Shiro might have said out of confusion. Overall, the entire concept for me is just very creative and well done, and the natural build-up of trust here feels believable, as everyone has to work together in small groups to reunite, in which they put their differences aside for the sake of survival and acknowledge each other's strength. Also, I fucking love Takumi, alright? I've said this before many times, and by relation, I love Kiragi, and I just want to say how wholesome chungus it is for Kiragi to try and warm up to Forrest by calling him the Crown Prince of Nor, and then Forrest just shuts him down, what a cunt. But I love the characters for more than the royals. Everyone here has some role, well, mostly. I don't remember Midoriya or Ignatius having more than a couple of lines. Everyone does something. It really feels like this is one big family rather than just a few important royals. Although I don't know about the kids of the retainers being their royal retainer as well. So like Takumi's retainer is Hinata and Hinata has Hizame and now Hizame is the retainer to Kiragi. That feels a bit like borderline slavery. Did Hizame consent to this? Actually scrap that, I'd worship the fuck out of Kiragi. God, he sounds so wrong, he's like 14. I do think it was smart though to have the first 4 chapters have only one royal plus kana, being Kiragi, Forrest, Shiro and Siegbert in that order, because it enables them to bounce off the lesser children to make everyone feel important. I also find the concept of 2 kanas really neat. Like, doesn't this look cool? This is literally impossible in Vanilla Fates, but it's kinda dope, right? Gameplay wise, this is still Fates, and it's still fun, while also striking a nice balance of difficulty. It's not too easy, but it's not too hard. The maps chosen are good picks for the most part, although the third one's a bit questionable with that Leo map. But the final map is so good. While it's just Revelation's final chapter, you find every parent and they all have unique dialogue with their kids, and I always challenge myself to see everything. And look, this is the thing with Fates, the game has heart, man. There is so much unique dialogue here, even extending to things they didn't need to, like the royals having conversations with their uncles, and Asugi having dialogue with Kaze. I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff, and some of the dialogue here is really decent, such as Siegbert talking about himself overcoming his insecurity and being proud to inherit Siegfried, or my son Kiragi, who foreshadows something. The song here is perfect. You'd think I'd forget the song, it's been playing in the background for ages, and it's amazing! A Shigure rendition of Lost in Thoughts All Alone called Lost in the Waves. Matt Mercer can sing his heart out. There's even another end credits song, possibly the best part of Heirs of Fates. The pictures in the credits. Oh my god, it's enough to make a grown hamster cry. You heard nothing there. Just look at some of these, they're gorgeous. I think overall, it's interesting how in only 6 chapters, Heirs of Fates manages to tell a captivating and charming story, with fleshed out characters and an emotionally sound ending, which is maybe even better than Vanilla Fates. My takeaway then is go play it. Seriously, experience it. You will not be disappointed. And while we're here, here's a funny edit of Kiragi that I'll write into my script and record my audio on Saturday the 7th of September, which I'll likely get around to editing on the 10th or the 11th. So let's see what Terra cooked up. Kiragi.
What just happened? You got shot.
Then
Kiragi.
said something I won't ever forget.
Oh, guess I'm not the only archer around here. Got me right through the heart.
Kiragi.
Died right there by that ribbon.